Let's go for a fast recall on what we were discussing on the term strategy and strategic management. Please try to recall all the five points which we have already discussed. It's like a definition for a strategy. When you say strategy, I'm talking about strategy. It's nothing but a planning. Okay. And when we say about planning, we have two types of planning in general. One is short-term planning and another one is long-term planning. Usually we'll talk about long-term planning. Okay. Because strategy is not going to, we are going to decide something today and it's going to happen tomorrow. No, it's not that a way. We'll be deciding day by day, today, yesterday, and what are the policies the government is going to bring day after yesterday. So everything will be put into account, taken into account, and everything will be accordingly decided. So it's not just a 1 day work or 1 hour work or just for a quarter period or for 1 year or 4 or 5 financial years. It may be going till the company exists. So such a way defined. So that's why it's called this as long-term planning. But definitely we cannot just use the term planning here. Instead, we are using the term called as strategy or strategic planning. And we are going to manage the strategy what we have planned already. So what is the atmosphere around me? And I have to take the atmosphere's role inside, which in general will not call the term atmosphere, will call the term environment. So if we talk about environment, we have micro environment or macro environment, or the other way, internal environment or external environment. So we can call in this way also. Obviously, if you turn to your content page, you will find it internal, external environment. The details about external environment is chapter number 2. All about internal environment is chapter number 3. So we're going to discuss in detail. So instead of micro and macro term, I'm going to use internal and external hereafter. What do you mean by external environment? Is all not in my control. It's not happening only to my company, to my organization, to my industry. It's happening for all. So every policy is what the government brings. Everybody has to take care of. But in the case of internal, employees are doing a strike now. For example, you see, completely I'm dealing with Mahindra and Mahindra only. So any terms which I use it, I take the help of Mahindra and Mahindra groups. Okay. If you go for Mahindra and Mahindra strategic choice, so our heading is strategic choice today, chapter number 4. If you go for referring the content page, can you please turn off the content page of strategy, not the content page. What do you call this? Blue chart or something, you get it. Yeah, chapter review. Can you please turn over to this page, the very first page of chapter 4. See, strategic choices is the heading. What are the different choices that exist? Either the company go for stabilization as a strategy, which means I may be in 5 to 10 position, top 5 or 10 positions. Instead of pushing myself in the sense that I'm in an organization, I'm Mahindra and Mahindra. Instead of pushing myself before 5, I will try or I will stabilize in this position itself. That's what I call as stability. Stabilization is my strategy. But I cannot always stay in the same position, right? Obviously, shareholders will be asking question, what are you doing? You're still in sixth position. See, there was one industry or there was one automobile company which was in 10th position, now is in sixth position or fifth position. But we are still in sixth positions for so long. So now the question is, you cannot stay in the same position. I'll go for growth or expansion. Again, the shareholders, because they are the notional owners of a company. Again, the shareholders, what they will think here is, again, they will be saying, you're doing so many businesses. Only 4 are making good. Other 3 are not making good, making losses. Why you are still with the thing? So let me go off or come out of that retrenchment strategy. Or you can go for merger, acquisition, likewise. So as I was discussing with respect to internal, Mahindra and Mahindra Group acquired this company, South Korean company, South Korean automobile called as Sang. Okay, you can refer this later. Sang Motors. Okay. They were making these cars, automobiles, called as KG Motors, not MG. But I've seen MG. I'm talking about KG Motors. So in short, they call it as KGM. Okay. This KGM Motors is being taken control by Sang Motors, and this Sang Motors is being acquired by not only Mahindra and Mahindra, the other 2 persons are also there. One belongs to China also. Okay. So I think 3 persons. I'm not okay with the data, but I can roughly remember these names. So along with Mahindra and along with some Chinese company and another one company put together took care of this Sang Motors and there came a strike where the employees were making some strike. See now, even though two or three companies are merging or combining, doing this business, now the problem is the employees. It's affecting who? Me, which is the internal. Internal to this company only. Internal means what? It affects only me. It is not affecting my co-player. It is not affecting my rival company. It's affecting only me. So I have to take care very sincerely. And one happy thing is it's completely under my control where I can place the different policies. I can make it blue. Okay. So that's about the environment. So environment, we have to go in detail. Again, we'll cover that in chapter number 2 and chapter number 3. Can you help me out with the third point, please? The environment is again dynamic, not static. So I can put it in brackets. It's not a static environment. It changes, and changes. Okay. Yes, another one point. Ah, why we do this is we want to gain competitive advantage because it's not only gaining competitive advantage. I was saying another one word. Can you help me out, Pa? Sustainability. That's what is stability. I want to sustain in my business. Okay. So we define, it's not just planning. Okay. We define the strategy so that we gain competitive advantage. We want to show ourselves which the competitor cannot do. So gain competitive advantage, not only gaining competitive advantage, also to sustain in my business, to retain my stability in my business. This is the third point. So 1, 2, and 3 is done. Yes, can I help you with the fourth point? Yes, what are the resources which I have? I'll try to manage with that. So this is what you call as resource mobilization. Probably I'm slightly deviating from Mahindra. I would like to take the help of LG case. LG is not in automobiles, sorry, mobile phones now. Okay, because LG planned that there are so many players in mobile industry, so we are not going to reflect over there. And moreover, it wants to use its resources effectively. And I was introducing one more product. Remember that projector. Remember that product? Projector. It's 3-in-1 model where you'll have a lamp, you'll have a projector, original projector, which projects the screen, and along with that, it will have a speaker inbuilt. So all the three are here. This is a 3-in-1 model you can refer. If you want to buy for your home, you can definitely buy. See, I just went through some articles, not for Mahindra or Mahindra, just a series. You see so many YouTube shorts and it comes many different articles it comes, and sometimes I go for reading what the expert says. I came to read this one. Many while planning to build a house, they are not buying TV. You might have seen, right? Earlier, for buying TV, they'll make showcases. They call it as TV showcases. Probably, just roughly, I draw a figure. A big showcase will be made where a small place or a big place will be left out for fixing the TV. Okay, you have this type at your home, and you have different shelves, and all the shelves will be filled only for display articles. Okay, Nai Brahma, Koraku Brahma, okay, like this. And this is now the old fashioned. And currently, they are using this type of a structure where if this is the wall, one side of the wall of your home, of your living hall, of your living place, and they'll be completely decorating this place like panels or something like that, and the TV will be fixed over here. Okay, the TV will be fixed over here, and some lighting works will be done. So this is one strategy. They are strategy is that beautification, decorative, interior decoration work, and it's not all gone now. This is how LG is promoting its projector. How the LG says, what the LG says is just go for one lamp. Okay, where is that lamp? Next to your sofa. If you want to read books, fine. On the lamp, switch on the lamp, read the book. If you want to listen something like prayer songs or some music or something like that, yes, switch on the speaker. If you want to watch visually, okay, go ahead on the projector. And there's no such thing called as hanging TV on the wall, planning for 32-inch or 70-inch. That's all different now. That's all over. It's all gone. See, instead of in mobiles, now it's going to projector. And there are being so many products for. If you go for LG, you will refer LG also. Probably I'm planning that for next batch. Okay, you don't plan for next batch. You go for the exam and finish it off. Okay. So probably each and every time I take a different case, and this time for you, I have taken Mahindra and Mahindra. That's it. Okay. So resource mobilization. What are the resources I have? Probably the resources. Not only we are talking about scarcity. You have to please remember because the resources scarce. I want to use it effect. No, it's not that way. What are the resources I have? I use it effectively and I check for efficiency which I get. I'm using two words. Actually, we get confused with two words called as effectiveness and efficiency. Effective and efficient. Okay. Effective is a word associated with operations related actions. What are the plans you do and etc. Efficiency is how you design the plans, management oriented. Effectiveness and efficiency. Okay. But obviously, we use both the words colloquially, we interchange the words, so that's not a big thing because you're not going to define at all. So when we talk about mobilizing my resources, I'm not just talking about the resources scarce. No, I'm not talking about that. We may be talking about what are the resources I have today. Will it be available tomorrow? Yes, I may be talking about that. So I may be talking about the scarcity of the resource. I may be talking about the resource which is available currently to me. Sometimes I may be talking about the resources what it's already available in abundance. But still, I use it effectively. I bring it with respect to innovation. What Mahindra and Mahindra is doing. Again, let me deviate somewhat with Mahindra and Mahindra again, and I'll come back. The strategy which Mahindra and Mahindra uses is three. Again, I have discussed this earlier. One is innovation as a strategy, and another one diversification. Because when you talk about Mahindra and Mahindra Group, it deals with aerospace, automobiles. Okay, so many tech Mahindra, so many we have. And another one is with respect to sustainability. You remember what we were discussing with respect to sustainability? 2040 carbon neutral. Ah, see, everything we know, only thing is we forget. Even I forget. Okay, that happens, right? I'm not working for Mahindra and Mahindra. Okay, I'm not going to write the exam. Obviously, only you only have to remember. See, all these three are the strategies which Mahindra and Mahindra has followed. Okay, this is the main three strategies. See, it's not only for Mahindra and Mahindra. Probably Mahindra and Mahindra is in diversification strategy is fine because most of the companies goes for diversification is fine. And each and every company is planning for R&D and even they work for bringing innovative products. This is fine because each and every business plan for innovative products only. But what about the sustainability? That's a big highlight of M&M because they clearly, again, I want to refer this Paris Agreement. From Paris Agreement, it's about 2050. They need actually this Paris Agreement was entered between I think 2016-17. I think. Did you refer this one? If possible, just go through. Okay, not necessary for exam point of view, just to gain knowledge. 2016 or 17, I remember they entered into this agreement to make carbon neutral, global wise. When we talk about this environment pollution, it becomes global wise only. When we talk about money laundering, when we talk about environment, pollution control, completely we have to talk about global wise only. Okay. So this Paris Agreement, they are planning for 2050 to be a global carbon neutral. But Mahindra, one decade before, that's 10 years before, is planning to become carbon neutral. And we have this Igatpuri plan. See, this is the strategic choice. See, this is the winning strategy for Mahindra. See, all the companies are planning to become carbon neutral. But Mahindra and Mahindra is giving an open statement that will make it before 10 years before, a decade before. So that's the highlight. Okay. Again, if possible, there is a YouTube channel, Mahindra Rice. There's a website, Mahindra Rice. They use the word Mahindra Rice. Rice together for ATM. It's not only you grow separately, I grow separately. We grow together, rise together. You can subscribe this channel. Okay. Mahindra and Mahindra. So they have a common YouTube channel. They have a common website called as Mahindra Rice. I seriously request you. So even though you have subscribed for Singer Academy channel or not, please subscribe for Mahindra Rice. Okay. I'm not the ambassador for Mahindra, but this is definitely going to be helpful because I just went through some YouTube shorts. It was really, it's good. Okay. The way they have picturized, they make each and every employee of that organization to talk about their own views. They celebrate Pongal, they celebrate other national festivals and other things, and they share everything. See, rice, not alone, but together. That's a different caption. Okay. So you can have a check on this. Then I think there is only one point, fifth point. Yeah. Yes, you align. It's not planning, it's strategy. Strategy is for the whole organization. It's not only for your division. It's you have to align with your vision, vision and objectives. Thank you, Paul. So vision, goals and objectives. And I asked you to refer for Mahindra and Mahindra. Did you check? Okay, can you help me out? Because I did not check. It's a big one, and then leave it. No, you check by yourself. We'll later discuss. Because if I go ahead, maybe diverting more. Okay, so this is what so far we are discussing. Any doubts to discuss more on this, please? So let me carry over from chapter number 4, from your material, chapter material. Okay, strategic choices. It's completely theory. Please try, uh, try to take analytically, practically, because if you just go word by word, it will not be helpful. So I'm not going to go word by word. I'll try to go para by para because there may be some 1 or 2 points, some technical words which may be using that will be helpful for writing the exams. Okay. So let me take over directly to the chapter material. So what we're going to discuss over here is, okay, I just want to go for this words, this quotes. It's by Henderson. I don't know who's he. Okay, it's there, his name is there here. This is actually a beautiful definition. Probably you can take this as you can place some star mark in between where you can help can take the help of writing the exams and all. So deliberate search for a plan of action. This is nothing but a plan of action, which means planning. Okay, that will develop a business competitive advantage and compound it, which means that will be utilizing in each and every case. Okay, so you can take a help of this one. Okay, that will be helpful. Okay, so in this chapter we are dealing with strategic choices. When we say strategic choices, we are going to define under three headings. One is with respect to what are the broad strategies which we are using, which almost all the companies are using. One goes with stabilizing, one goes with growth, which means expanding, third goes with retrenching, and fourth goes with combining. When we talk about the next heading, strategic exits, so coming out, turnaround was one strategy exit, which means probably we might have reached a good position, but still we stand over there and we look back. What are the drawbacks, or we take from the back experience? Okay, from the past, we may be gaining some experience, or we might have done some mistakes over there, so we may be gaining from that. Divestment. So divestment means we diversify. Okay, diversify in this instead of investing, we just move away from that. Okay, so divestment and liquidation. Probably might be the liquidation and strategic options. So we are going to discuss all these portfolio analysis models. Okay. So we have this BCG matrix, Ansoff matrix. So portfolios, different features we'll consider and we'll discuss. So it's like a tabular working like. When we say strategy, say I'm not going to go word by word. Please try to understand. I'll go para by para. But this introduction plays an important role. This strategy, even though we say we are planning for the whole organization, you remember this triangle type of an organization. This is called as the top level, this is called as the middle level, and this is called as the bottom level or low level or whatever it is. Okay. Actually, who's planning or who is designing the strategy means the top level management designs. Even the top level management designs, who's actually executing it? The bottom level. Actually, bottom level, the another name you have. Could you remember? What are the other names? You call this as tactical level. You call this operational level. You call this as functional level. Okay, which means different departments will have different strategy. For example, if I talk about marketing department, it will have a different strategy for marketing. Mahindra's marketing strategy: post the photos, then launch the product. Automobiles. Okay, they'll be posting the photos in all the social media. Probably you'll get you can see big banners like okay the highways or roads. Then they'll be launching the product. This is the marketing strategy. We can talk about production strategy. Okay, what's the production strategy of Mahindra and Mahindra? It has made this fully indigenous vehicle, Thar. It's fully made in India, complete domestic vehicle. Okay, production strategy. Or it may be planning for, again, when we go for Mahindra, the basic business of Mahindra is steel. Remember, because of steel only they came inside. Likewise, we can talk for accounting, we can talk for HR, and so on. Even though we say that this top level management designs and defines the full strategy, who's actually executing this lower level? What's the role of this middle level? This middle level is actually intermediating between top and bottom. Whatever they communicate, this will be spread over to the functional level. Okay. And moreover, if you want to talk, see, HR strategy will be completely different when compared with the production strategy. Production strategy may not be highlighting marketing strategy and so on. So we need to have a separate strategy for production. We need to have a separate strategy for marketing. So it may look like it's for the whole organization, but we are effectively working for that function alone. So in that case, strategies are here formulated at different levels of organization. It involves, I want to highlight this one, well thought of decision making and cover the actions dealing with the objective of the firm, which we are saying vision, goals, objectives. Not only the firm's objective, obviously the shareholder will say, see, I have invested so much of money. I'm not doing social service, right? It's a pooling of money only, not pooling of capital. So shareholders, they want their return on investment. How the resources has to be allocated, how the strategies of various business units has to be coordinated so that you get the optimal performance. What do you mean by this term optimal? I don't want to deviate much, but you need to definitely know about this term. What do you mean by optimal or optimality? I started a business. Obviously, when you say business, what is the intention of the business? To make profit. If you talk about money and accounting, then profit is not only measured in terms of money. You have to remember that. So when we talk about business, the sole objective or the sole purpose of moving the business is making profit. Okay, if we define with the help of company's definition, there is a feature for a company voluntary association for making profit. So when you say it's a business, it's nothing but making profit. Okay. But I started this business. I may be getting less profit, but instead I want to stabilize my business. I want to get more customers for my business. That's why I just want to have less profit so that I'll earn profit in the future. I'll gain the confidence of the customers. So less profit is also a good profit earning. This is what you call as optimality. It's not showing only in numbers. It's not about figures. Again, you can refer this Mahendra and Mahendra price. This one YouTube shorts I saw. Figures is not only in balance sheet. Okay, I don't know which short is that one. I'll try to link that one if possible. Figures are only in balance sheet. What about others? That was a good statement. If possible, you can check that. When you talk about numbers, it's just going to be in balance sheet because the capital we get it from the investors, the amount we spend for the company is all only for balance sheet purposes. See, that's also like promotional strategy they're doing where they're gaining partners not only from the customers, they're gaining partners from the employees also because they can from the employees. Okay, let me come again here. So for the optimality, that's the optimal performance. It makes strategic decisions and so on. But I'm not going line by line. Okay, so let me take over from the first heading. Again, you can refer these persons named William Luke, Lawrence, Jaws. Discuss four generic strategies. So we are going to discuss four generic strategies. One is stabilization. One is growth. The another name for growth is expansion, retrenchment, and combination. Okay, you just don't underline or scribble everything. The things which we need from here is only these persons' name. If you remember these persons' name, well and good, you can effectively use their names in the exam. See, these two persons define four strategies. You will not just call this as strategies, you will call this as generic strategies. Please highlight. Why do you say this as generic strategies? Because almost all the companies follow these four only. Apart from this, you can talk about innovation. Apart from this, you can talk about sustainability. That's different. But almost all the companies use only these, fall under these strategies. Okay. And whenever we talk about management, definitely we have to talk about management or strategic management. We have to talk about this person called as Porter. He's quite a very famous person. If you can please Wikipedia this person, Porter, because in strategic management, in our own materials, we'll be discussing about this Porter's analysis in many places. Michael Porter. He is defining competitive strategies which may be cost leadership, differentiation, focus cost leadership, and focus differentiation. Probably I'll come for this detailing later. Okay, I don't want to deviate much. Apart from that, we can talk about functional strategies also. What are the different business policies I want for marketing or whatever it is? Okay. So when we go for functional strategies, we have marketing, financial, human resources, logistics also is there. Again, if you go for Mahindra FMCG logistics is there, right? Mahindra and Mahindra is not in FMCG but in FMCG logistics, production strategy. Okay. So we have here level of the organization, three levels. Just let me take up the speed. Okay, we have already discussed corporate level, business level, functional level. What are the stages of the business life cycle? Is we usually define in four stages. One is the entry stage. One is the next level. It grows. Growth stage. It goes very next level. It becomes matured. Maturity stage, and it declines. Decline stage. Usually, whatever the area is, we usually describe it as a graph. Okay, starts, okay, introduction, then grows, okay, then matures. So at one point of time, it has to come down, declines. This is how the curve will look like, but exactly not like this curve. If you are a foundation student, if you have done with this normal distribution, everything you can apply here. But normal distribution is a symmetrical curve. We cannot be symmetrical here because every time we cannot explain. Now let me divide this as full stage. This is the Surely the it should come this way. One second. Don't take it to scale, okay? Actually, the introduction stage will be very less, like it will be a very small slope to curve. Then for growth, it will be little bit steeper line. Then for maturity, it will go very fast. Then decline also very fast. This is how it goes. So if I split as four stages, I can take this as one stage, this is another stage, this is the maturity stage and declines. So what is the stage called as? Yes, please help me out. You can refer the material. This is the entry stage. After hyphen, you will get something called as market penetration. We have to penetrate into the market because the market is already there, but I'm new to the market. Please try to understand. Market is already there. I have to penetrate my product. Okay, so market penetrate because I have to take over the market because I have to sell my product in the market only. So this is what you call as the market penetration stage because I'm new to the market. Okay. Next level, growth or expansion. Next level, maturity, stability. Okay. Next level, declines. Actually, when we talk about this full business cycle, most probably it goes like this only. But what happens is, see, just think. This line will never touch. See, this line which I have drawn here will never touch this one. Will never touch the lower horizontal line. Will never touch here. It looks like touching. It won't touch. You may again ask, how it cannot touch me? In case if I close the business, it's gone over. So the product may be the market will be declining probably for 5 years, 6 years. Okay, let me come for this term probably. Let me check how far you're okay with this term. You know this Gopal Palpudi? All right, okay. Happy then. You know this good night, not matte or liquidators, coil, surul. Okay. Still also many are using. You know this Nirma powder? You know this Hammam soap? See, even you know, right? This it's not declined. If you talk about this Hammam strategy, actually, you know this Hammam advertisements and all. I like this Pierce advertisement. See, Pierce, if you see this side, it will be transparent. You can see the other side. Pierce is a beautiful advertisement. You go with Hammam, usually Hammam, like these soaps and all related to beauty and other things. If you go for Lifebuoy, who will be using Lifebuoy? Army men, military men who sweat more, so they'll be using like who will be using Lux? Leave of Gayatri, other three. If you share with your friends, I use Lux only. They'll see you in a different way. Don't mistake me. Okay. If Gayatri says, ma'am, I'm using Lifebuoy, ma'am. I'm a hard worker, ma'am. You use Lifebuoy? I'll see her in a different way because it's meant like who's the ambassador for Lux? See, a boy doesn't come, a girl comes there. Okay, who is using that Lux soap? Who's the star there? What about Lifebuoy? Who's the star over there? It's different. What about Hammam? Please try to recall. Who comes in the Hammam ad? A small kid will come. Okay. I remember this is the caption they use. அம்மா நேம் எல்லாம் என்னம்மா அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க. Okay. See, why I'm saying is, Hammam is there for the long back. See, if you go some 20, 25 years, you ask your parents, this Hammam, old Synthol, they were using this works only. Else they will be using some that Nalanga Mal Podi. Okay. This Hammer wants to fight in the industry. That's market. What this Hammer does is nothing. The same component, the wrapper alone is changed. If you sometimes visit the supermarket, you just go and check the wrapper. For Hammer, you'll get a shining wrapper. Now, that plastic coated shining wrapper line. I'm talking about wrapper. Soap is not changed. The same soap name only. I'm talking about the wrapper design, wrapper material. Earlier it was like normal paper wrapper, but that has been outdated. So they want to compete with other soaps, with the Synthol or Lifebuoy, whatever it is. So they changed the wrapper around. It's still in the industry. So we may be saying it's declining, but you cannot say it's completely gone. So this line will not touch. Okay. See, these four stages define a business life cycle. And I can say, it's only the product I'm going to make. Please be keen on the word. Is only the product I'm going to make. This is, I'm talking about a business. It's not one product, right? How many products I will be making? That's why diversified is. I may make many number of products, even when you talk about phone companies, mobile phone companies. See, it's not one mobile phone. Probably if I talk about Vivo is same. If I talk about Redmi, it's same. Everything is same. No one is the same. All are same companies only. But still they have different names like different brand. If you say Vivo, it comes in around some 20 or 25,000. Okay. If you go with the same features for OnePlus, it comes for 70 or 75,000. Okay. I have OnePlus. My mom and my mother-in-law, they have same brand, same model. They have a Vivo. What are the features I have? They are also having. I'm worried then why I bought the 70,000 rupees mobile? Not necessary, right? Okay. Actually, I was asking for a professional camera. Sir said, you are not going to take the camera, you are not going to step inside the water, you are not going to become a wildlife photographer. After all, you're going to handle classes for CA Group to SM. So this mobile is sufficient for me. But actually, I'm not using because actually I love photography and all. I have taken so many pictures. I love this photography. So I thought I can go for buying a professional camera. That was not at all helpful because this phone still I'm not using it. See, it happens, right? So when we see about business, this is the four stages of a business. But if you go inside this curve, this is not one product I'm making. How many products will be there? So many number of products will be there. So actually what happens here is, now I'll change this curve bit slightly. Please check on this. Here, this is for one product. It may be declining. When it reaches its mature, one product, now I'm not talking about the business. See here, which I referred earlier, is the full business. Here I'm talking about many products of the same business. So this is was inclining, reach the maturity stage. When this maturity stage is reached, now there arises a question. They have to introduce a new product in the market. When a new product is introduced, when it is introduced, not at this stage, before it will be introduced. Probably if I again draw this graph, it will be introduced at this stage itself. Can you understand the graph? When this is product one, it comes for declining. My second product is almost in the maturity stage. See, somehow the business has to get money from. This is a simple one, okay? So that's the background one. So this is how it will be going. So we have market penetration stage, growth or expansion strategy. Maturity is what you call as the stability strategy. So when the business becomes mature, you have to stabilize in that position, else you'll be declining very fast. See, each and every business is going to decline. You cannot sustain it. Probably in 100 years or 200, if you talk about ITC, if you talk about Tata companies and all, it's there for 100 plus years. It's going to decline, but not immediately. This slope, it will not fall immediately. Instead, it will fall in a slow fashion. Is it okay? Done. So when you go for competition oriented, we have this competitive strategies given by Porter. Cost leadership, I'll discuss later because we have a separate heading. Differentiation is there. Let's see, simple. Let me give a small head. Cost leadership means one will be selling the Pepsodent 10 rupees pack for 10 rupees. Colgate will be selling for 9 rupees and 50 paise with the same quality, same quantity. Cost leadership. How I differentiate the same product with lesser cost because I need to become the leader in that. Differentiation. I need to differentiate the product. What Colgate says? I'm using salt in them. What Pepsodent says? You're using only salt. I'm using salt and mint. So I'm using salt. I'm using mint. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this close-up ad. Most of this close-up ad, See, if you go for Colgate, immediately there one lady will be coming saying that from the wardrobe. Okay, she'll be saying that, does your paste have salt? The question. Okay. What about closer? Most of the close-up ad, you just see one boy and one girl will be coming closer. The name itself is close-up. Okay. Okay, not going to in depth. Collaboration strategies are there. We'll go for joint venture, we'll go for merger and acquisition, we'll go for strategic alliances. There, strategic alliances means the product may be different, but a strategy will be working together. So in that sense, okay. Probably I request you to go through all these for a fast glance, which I have discussed in the from the earlier table itself. So can you please make out till here? Please make a note of this table. It's quite important because if there is a question or if there is a practical case law stating which strategy could be used or distinguish between two different strategies, for example, stability and expansion. So this basic feature will be helpful for these type of problems. Okay. So on stability, see the firm wants to stay in the current business itself. So this word is important. Current business itself is not trying to expand its business. Current business or current product market. It maintains the same or what's the level existing now? It maintains the same level of efforts and is satisfied with incremental growth. So in case if it improves like 1% or 2%, it's fine. We are happy. Okay. Even though it's not expecting, we are happy. With respect to expansion, significant growth. Please highlight. See, can you highlight these two words? Stability means incremental growth because I cannot always say this time it's 50 units I'm selling, next time also 50. Then how can I say my business is growing even though it's stable? So incremental growth is expected, not much, but what happens in expansion? Significant growth is expected. So this term is important. Maybe within the same business, or I may be expanding. So you call this as concentric diversification, conglomerate diversification. We'll go in detail bit later. Maybe entering new business that are related to the existing business or maybe entering new businesses that are unrelated. If it is related means we call this as concentric diversification. Concentric means within my area, within my radius of products. If you say unrelated means we say it's conglomerate. Conglomerate. For example, if we talk about, should I take over the board? Huh? If I talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, please make a note. If I talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, its flagship company is on steels. Okay, main steels. When we talk about or when we go of this history, background history, it was supplying or it was for the main manufacturer for villages. Okay, and if it is expanding to provide steel for other automobile company entering into partnership or entering into memorandum of understanding with any companies, this is what all you call as concentric. Because I'm providing steel alone. Please try to understand. So this is what you call as concentric. But what now happened is it made us looks like I have used my own steel. No, I have gone one step ahead. This also a diversification. Probably you're entering in a different industry. See this here. If you give the steel to other, it's just a raw material level. But what here? It becomes the finished product. So I'm going for a different what industry. This is a conglomerate diversification. Again, if you discuss in detail, I may say that this falls like vertical and horizontal diversification. I just represent in a different angle. I'm supplying here for village for company A, for company B, for company C. Okay, for company A to Z. These are all happening for different areas. And I'm acquiring. Okay, these are all what you call as horizontal mergers, horizontal diversification. When I go one step ahead, I make tar. Okay, probably I make for other automobile parts, auto parts, or anything like that. This is what you call as vertical diversification. When you go for vertical, again there are two types of vertical. One upward, or what you call as see upward. I'm using the direction. That's why I'm saying upward. Upward, or you can call this as what forward. This is what you call as forward vertical diversification. And the other one category is downward. Okay, this downward. The other name is backward. See, my process is one step prior for this process. This is what you call as backward diversification. Vertical. Okay, vertical and backward diversification. Is it okay? So if possible, can you please go in detail for MNN? Okay, I'm not going to go in depth. I request you to do so because you'll get more knowledge. Probably during the exams, you can take Mahindra and Mahindra case. If you want to represent anything, you please confidently write that for Mahindra and Mahindra because I want to go in depth for Mahindra. Even though I may be discussing a few points, I request you to do so in depth knowledge. So if you will get any questions related to this vertical diversification or conglomerate or concentric, you can take the help of Mahindra case. Would like to carry over? Shall I? Shall I? Yeah. Next, we'll go for retrenching. The form retrenches or what you call as drops. Probably it may be selling out or it may be liquidating or whatever it is. What do you mean by combination? Hybrid. What is the other name for this? Is hybrid, which means it may be combining expansion and retention or whatever it is. Okay. Some permutation and combination will be done. So we'll go one by one in detail. Let me go for stability strategy. It may be opted. Why? See, you need to have some reasons. You're not directly taking, okay, this time we'll take stability, next time. No, it's not that way. There is something happening for the company, something happening in the external environment, and you have to reserve accordingly. See, during the pandemic time, how many were discussing on growth or expansion strategy? Many were planning for retrenchment, or big companies were planning for stability. So you cannot say that, no, my strategy is only growth and expansion, even though there are no people because many were dying. Okay. Even though there are no people, I'm going to expand. No, there is no reason for that. So depending on all, this is what you call as your analyzing the environment, and we use SWOT analysis, pestle analysis and all. Okay. SWOT analysis is both internal and external. Pestle is completely external. Okay. We are not dealing as of now currently, not deviating much. So what is opting means? One, actually, we're going to list it out. Please, you can list it out. Why? To safeguard his existing interests. Two, to pursue well-established and tested objectives. Three, to continue with chosen business path. I have chosen this is my business, right? This is my product. Let me stay in that product. Why I want to deviate? This is three. Already I'm efficiently doing my work. Let me continue in the same way. That is, I maintain the same way on a sustained basis. Okay, so this is I think four. Okay. And next one, to consolidate the commanding position. Yeah, beautiful point. I would suggest this one. It's a very beautiful one. See, already I'm in a leadership position. I command. Okay. I give some ideas. And many, see, you might have seen these MBA students, many are doing this case study works on these companies. Particularly if I talk about pricing strategy, they're doing on Bata. Okay, there are some particular companies where all the students study of it. So I'm already in commanding position, which means I have reached that position. Let me stabilize over there. So this is the fifth one. And also sixth one, to optimize returns on the resources committed in the business. What are the different resources we have? Main capital. And obviously, I have to give the confidence to the shareholders or investors. They want to gain something on return on investment. So all this has to be taken care of. Even the employees. If an employee joining an organization, that employee should have the confidence that he'll be leading his life comfortably. All these are needed. So how many points are there? This becomes a reason for you to choose to opt stability. We have 6 points. Okay. So it may be pursued by a firm when it continues to serve the same or similar markets. I want to highlight this word, please. Same or similar market. And for which company or which organization this may be helpful means in that life cycle, I was discussing product life cycle and business life cycle. The product might have achieved this maturity stage, and for those companies, this will be helpful because they want to stabilize it. Okay, they want to stabilize it. So this has to be taken. So they have to remain updated. What are the other things the customer wants? Because customer thinks, okay, if you're not changing, we want to make some changes. Okay, probably the wrapper amount has to be changed. Okay, to attract the customers. So these things happens. Yes, please highlight stability strategy should not be confused with do nothing strategy. How BSNL did. I don't do anything. I just stay like this. But during that period, BSNL was not doing anything. But recently, I just came to go through some articles and news that BSNL is taking many number of steps. Okay. Next, I'll go for characteristics. So we have defined, we have gone for a broader introduction of stability. Now we'll go for characteristics. more or less the same content. Just go through, stays in the same business. Okay, you just listen over here. Okay, you need not make a note of anything. You can manage. Maintain same product market posture. It's not developing any new one. Have the same functions. Maintaining same level of expert. Okay, only things it will be enhancing is functional efficiencies because it has to go for at least an incremental growth. Okay, it cannot stay the same because it will become outdated. It will become absolute. So it cannot be doing that. Okay, so this has to be taken care of. And the firm will be working to get a desired income and profit. Okay, this time I'm making 50,000 of automobile production. Next time, stability means not just maintaining 50,000. I have to just put extra efforts on making 55,000 of automobile vehicles or just 60,000 or making it 1 lakh. I'm talking about per month. Stability strategy does not involve a redefinition. Please highlight. This may be helpful for practical problem. There is a company ABC. This is not planning for any redefinition of business, which means what they're talking about stability. They'll not use the term called as stability, but they'll be using all these alternate. They're using the same level of effort. They don't want to redefine the business, which means what they're talking about stability. It is a safe strategy that maintains status quo independence. Quo means being independent. Okay, it does not warrant much of fresh investments. Yes, probably if you look for many companies, it is not asking for any, or it's not issuing debentures or going for IPO. Nothing is like that. FPO or it will be just active in the secondary market. If you can buy and sell shares trading, only that. It is not asking for new investments. Okay, not all the companies will do. Okay, if you go for new fresh investments, it's obviously a burden. Let's go for the accounting side, where you put all this liability, that is capital, liability side, right? If new amount is coming inside the business, your liability is increased. Obviously, cash is also increased. Your liability is obviously increased. If your liability is increased, means then you're answerable more to the shareholders. Why you're bringing that position to your company? This is not going to happen in stability strategy, so I will not invite for fresh investment. The risk involved in the strategy is less because I'm not going to compete, I'm not going to think anything different. I just want to stabilize in my own way, own method. Okay. And while opting this organization can concentrate on its resources and existing business, thus leading to building, please highlight building core competencies. Probably, as of now, I may be planning for stability. I'm in stability strategy. But after some 1 year or 2 year or 3 years, I may be planning for what? Growth or expansion. At that time, I cannot work from the beginning. I cannot go for working from scratch. I have to build now itself. So let me build now itself. It's a very beautiful point. Probably I can take the help of BSNL also. Why not BSNL? I can talk about Mahindra itself. So Mahindra, remember 1945 it incorporated a company, but during this 1945, they did not have any products, they did not have any market. Only thing is, they gave the caption, you remember, Dream for India. This was a statement given by Anand Mahindra. Anand Mahindra was giving some interview or something like that in a college or some stage. He was saying that we did not have any product, we did not have any market, but we gave this caption Dream for India. Who gave this caption is Jagadish Chandra. He's the first person to incorporate this company, Jagadish Chandra and KC. Okay, so this happens. So thus leading to building good. The firms with moderate growth objective chooses well. Okay, we are not a heavy growing business at all. We just grow like it's a small slopy growth like so in the case of major reasons. Okay, just I take up the speed. It's normal, which has reached a maturity strategy which I have already discussed. It has maintained status quo already discussed. Opted and the environment is operating relatively stable. You can please make a note of it. It's not like more dynamic. It somewhat reaches stability. Okay. During the pandemic, it was dynamic. Now it is okay. Stable environment. And it's not advisable to expand. Okay. Probably it may be threatening like so in that case also. And after, yeah, please highlight. After rapid expansion, I cannot go for and expanding my business. I have to become stabilized at that point. For example, if I reached, I'm in 12th position or 15th position in my industry. I have reached this 5 to 10 positions now, which means what? I may be doing 6th position, 7th position. I think Mahindra in FMCG is in 6th or 7th position. So what Mahindra will be planning is, it will be planning, it should not go away from 10th. Probably, if Mahindra plans for becoming the top 5, again, Mahindra has to sustain in that place. Immediately, Mahindra cannot plan for top 1 or top 3. See, usually we go this way top 50, first top 100 companies. There is no such thing called as top 80 companies or top 70 companies. It goes for top 50 companies then. Then we'll say top 20 companies. It's very rare we talk about top 20. Then it goes for top 10 companies. When it comes for top 10 companies, the competition is very heavy. We'll talk about top 5 companies. Then goes for top 3. Then goes for fighting within the first position. And the person who is in first position, the organization or the industry which is in first position will be always in a mindset to retain that position. Because once it becomes in the second position, over. So this maintaining top 3 position is so very important, especially maintaining in top 5 is important. So from 7th or 6th position, Mahendra has reached his top 5 position. Means you should not plan for top 1 or top 2 or top 3. You should plan immediately for retaining before this top 5. Is it okay? Right? So why don't startups aim for stability? Yes, startup is now only it's going, so they have so many problems. They had to face it, and some important factors like how speed they have to take and everything. Okay, so I can just go through. Can you please go through till here? So what strategy is done? Okay, yes, please. Till here. Continue. Second strategy, growth, or what you call as expansion strategy. Same, we are going to discuss or have a small intro about the strategy. Then we'll have the characteristics and the reasons. So these three main headings will be covered. See, this is the intro part. Okay. Then we'll go for characteristics. Then we'll go for major reasons. So why you go for opting this type of a strategy. There may be some other headings, miscellaneous headings like types of strategy or whatever it is. It depends on. You'll not get it for all. Okay. So you'll not get this for stability. You're getting only for this one. Then what else? Yes. So already we know a small intro about the strategy. Let me take up the speed. So when you introduce this one is you want to enlarge your business. So you want to go for the next level. Obviously, there'll be a substantial increase in the investment also. There we were not discussing about the investment. No fresh investment here. They have to discuss about the investment. Why we are going for the strategy is it's because of dynamism, which means changes, vigorous, which means very strong. You need to be promiseful for the customers or clients, and you need to be successful also. If you're not treating the customers wants, definitely you cannot win. Okay. Again, if you go for Mahindra Automobiles, if you're not treating the automobiles, because they have so many automobile players here, and if you're not competing with that, if you're not giving a promising results, then definitely you're not going to work out. Okay. So often characterized by significant reformulation. Please highlight this one of goals and directions. Then we were saying no redefinition. You remember? Then we were saying no redefinition. Here it is significant reformulation. Okay. Major initiatives may be taken. You go for involving investments. You go for exploration. Exploration means what? Think a new one about different things. Onslaught into new products, new technologies. See, everything you deal with the terms new. See, new technology, new markets, innovative decisions, action programs, and so on. Okay. So I want to go word by word for this one. May take the enterprise along relatively unknown and risky paths. Please highlight it. Full of promises, full of pitfalls. You may be thinking that okay, we are going for the next level. If you're not planning properly, if your strategy is not defined such a way, then probably it may go down. It will go for pitfalls also. Characteristics. Shall I take over? Involves a redefinition. It's opposite of stability strategy. See, it's clear. Whatever we are discussing for stability, we can equally compare with growth and expansion also. So opposite to stability. So while in stability, we rewards are limited, but in expansion, we will go for very high thinking. And expansion strategy leads to business growth. So mammoth growth, which means we'll go for in an exuberant way. Okay. The process of renewal will be happening through fresh investments. There, no fresh investment. So if we ask about to write the character or comparison between two strategies, yes, you can list these all points, right? It's a high versatile strategy. Please highlight. High versatile means you cannot say this is the one because see, even though we say it's one of the generic strategy, we cannot say only this company is going to plan only this one. You cannot say. It may be planning for new product. It may be planning for new market. Anything it can plan for. Versatility. Versatility means it has to be looked into a wider sense. Okay, versatility. Okay. So a firm opting for expansion strategy may generate many alternatives. This is what we call as versatility, which means what? Many alternatives will be there. High versatility means many options. Then expansion strategy goes with two major strategy. Already I discussed. One is intensification. Probably we go for producing more number of vehicles. Intensification, or we'll go for diversity. Both are the same. Okay, one is we say it's growth, one is we say expansion. So both are included. Okay. So major reasons is environment demands, and obviously economy has to be rising. Obviously we put efforts. We in the sense company industry put efforts, feel more satisfied with the prospects of growth from expansion. So obviously, chief executive CEOs they plan for presiding over organizations. They go for planning the growth already. Because when we talk about this major strategy, only the top executives will be working on this. So we'll be talking about the CEOs and other persons only. And they may lead to greater control also over the market. Because if they are the leaders for the market, obviously they are going to sustain and they have to sustain in the market and they will take over big control. Here only problem comes. What the Competition Act says is there should be a healthy competition. Geo. If you work, then okay. But give way for others also to work. Others also has to grow in the industry. Okay, so this is happening. Okay, and advantages from the experience curve. Experience curve means I do this, how much I give. Okay, so this I might have done in FM. If not, you'll do it in FM. It's a practical approach. So I'm not discussing now. We have it in FM. We have FM, right? For CA group. And it includes intensification, diversification, acquiring also is the merging business. If I merge business, then it's also a good one. Okay, I'm growing. Okay. Types of growth or expansion strategy we have internal growth and we have external growth. This is what I was using concentric and conglomerate. Okay. Expansion through intensification may be there. Say, if you go for internal, expansion through diversification may be there. So, if we go for intensification, we are intensifying our operations. Probably we are planning for market penetration. One, let me list it out. Please join with me. Market penetration, market development, or by product development. These three alternatives are there. Intensifying means it's not new. Please understand. New is the term associated with expansion or diversification. Here, intensifying means I penetrate more inside the market. Okay, else I go for market development or I go for developing. Already my product is there, I develop more. Okay, so this is how it goes. So how you can adopt the strategy? One is market penetration. Highly common expansion strategy. So most of the business plan for market penetration. They directly get the resources so that you get the profitable growth. Please highlight profitable growth. These are the terms you have to use in your exams. So you can use in your own words. Even though you are a CS student, you can use your own words, but still these are the words I expect. Profitable growth in the existing market. Existing market, not new. So when we are talking about market penetration, you should not use the word new at all because it's intensifying about. Then market development consists of marketing present products, the current products which I'm doing, to customers in related market areas, not the new areas. Please highlight, not the related, not the new areas, it's related areas. Adding different channels of distribution maybe. So that may be done. Different, changing the content of advertising or promotion, that's different. Okay, that's about marketing strategy. And what about product development? Involves substantial modification of products or creation of new. Because when you go for product development, small change differs the product completely. So that's why you can use it new here. But it should be related. Probably if I go for good night, we had coil. Then we had mat. It's all always we have all these also. Then we had some liquid bottles, liquidators. In that liquidators, the mission is now changing. Flash, low level, high level. See, there's a small difference. It's the same product, but we are highlighting the product. So it may look completely new, but it's not completely new. It's associated with what? Mosquito variety. Okay. Yes, I take the help of this hands-off framework. Can you please make a note of this name? His name, Igor H. Hands-off, because we'll be using his matrix called as hands-off matrix. Okay, Igor H. Hands-off. He's giving a framework on this grid. What do you mean by grid? Means cell-like formation. It's comparing in one single table. Market penetration, which means we'll be increasing our market share. See, what are the consequences? Probably can make a note of it. What are the consequences of how he describes in this language? It will be increasing market share, increase of the product usage, increase the frequency use, increase the quantity use, or find new application for current uses. When it goes for product development, let me go for market, finish off market first. When you go for market development, expand geographically, target new segments. Okay. When you go for product development, add product features. Please highlight. It may look new, mobile phone industry. It may look new, but a small feature is included. And they change the name. Last, instead of ending 00, they'll say 01. Or they'll change some alphabet. A model, R model, and so on. So the small change. Product is refined, not new. It's refined. Okay. In develop a new generation product and develop new product for the same market. Please highlight new product but for the same market. Okay. Example, you can have the example. Good night liquidators. Same market, but product is new. Okay. Because in this case, we have this problem when we say new product is not completely new. You have to understand. Okay. See, if we talk about LG projectors, it's completely new. But if you talk about projectors, the small variation in the projector, the light variation, the strong intensifying the resolution of the picture, then that is different. Okay. Then diversification involving new products and new market means we call this as related and unrelated. We have just roughly discussed, but we'll go in detail. So expansion of growth through diversification, which means we diversify into various products or fields. Okay. This is also an internal growth strategy. Please highlight this learn looks for opportunities and challenges to grow. 1 point. Okay, when you're thinking about this, okay, already we are in a nice growth, okay, reasonable growth, or already we are in stable environment. Why don't we take it for new challenges? We have so many opportunities lying around. So let us go for a new one. To venture into new areas or new activities and to break new frontiers. This happens, right? Who is going to break this target? That innovation. Who is going to plan to bring this new uh, product to the market? So all this will be discussed. They feel that diversification offers greater prospects and profitability than intensification. Please highlight because sometimes one product may not be helpful for my business development because I'm not seeing product by product. I'm seeing this as a overall business. When I say it's an overall business, if one product is not being profitable, I have to talk about another product. If that product is not profitable, I have to talk about another product. So I have to change product to product. That's what we call as diversification. Okay. So how do we define? So here is a definition. This defines an entry into new products or products line or new services or new markets involving, please highlight. You can probably manage with these new product, new lines and all. Involving, this is the highlight point, substantially different skills because you need to differ. See, strategy is somewhat dealing with gaining competitive advantage. You have to be innovative. You have to be different from other person. So involving substantially different skills, or you may be different using different technology or knowledge. That's what we call as know-how. Okay. When a firm establishes or introduces a new product which has little or no affinity with this present product, now it is meant for new class of customers. Okay, it's completely for the new class of customers. And if it is completely from the new customers itself, existing customers, we call this as conglomerate. This is what we call as unrelated. Okay. Other things are all normal. Probably you can just have a list here. They will have excess capacity with respect to manufacturing facility or investable funds or marketing channels. In these cases, I may be planning for diversification of market. See, I have a mission which I have invested in pros and pros in missions. I have using the state of art technology. Probably what Mahindra and Mahindra automobile industry itself. It is introducing Thar. It is introducing XUVs. Okay, so many things we have. Okay, so competitive standing has to be taken, market prestige has to be taken, managerial other manpower has to be taken, R&D, innovation. Okay, how far they work with R&D, raw material source. Mahindra is not worried about raw material because raw material manufacturers himself itself. Okay, so no issues. Another reason is synergetic advantage. Please highlight. Probably, I think you will get some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the ninth point. In this topic, we'll just go as points by point, okay? What do we mean by synergetic advantages? If I join with you, okay, you should get benefited, I should get benefited. I work independently, I get benefited. Okay. You work independently, you get benefited. Probably, let me have it in percentage. A company works independently, gets benefited 80%. B company works independently, gets benefited 70%. Both the companies work together, they get 90%. It's not just adding 80 and 70. Okay, just think this is happening same in the manufacturing sector. That's why many companies go for acquiring. Why a company has to acquire another company? And especially most of the companies acquire loss-making company. Why it has to acquire? See, it has to have synergetic effect. If there's no synergetic effect, you're not going to talk about merging or you're not going to talk about acquisition. That's not helpful at all. Okay. So it may be possible to improve the sales and profits or whatever maybe. Okay. So probably we can talk about Kotak Mahindra. You remember Kotak Mahindra is a non-banking financial institution converted as a first bank. It got as a first Indian bank for the license, converting from NBFC to bank. Mahindra is having a very less percentage stake, less than 5%. Okay, but still Mahindra has its name only for the reputation piece. So when we say it's only Kotak, that has a different reputation. When we say Mahindra, it has a different. Now come back. Let me discuss this in bit detail. When you say Kotak alone, it has a separate reputation. You can search about this person, what is Uday Kotak. When you talk about Mahindra Groups, it has a certain reputation. Now, if you both combine, then Kotak is reputed along with Mahindra. Mahindra is reputed along with Kotak. Probably, even though there is a very less stake, Mahindra is now in banking business only. See, industry is different, diversified. Kotak is in industry only, the same industry. The industry is not diversified, but because Mahindra is there, it is getting more reputation. Stability will be there. Kotak Mahindra, okay, belongs to Mahindra only, but very less stake it has. So the reputation matters. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. So it may be related to any linkages or technology or the markets. Even the name also matters here. Again, we'll go for two broad categories. Already have discussed. One is concentric diversification. Another one is conglomerate diversification. Related business from the synergetic gains. Whereas we go for conglomerate. Unrelated business, we go for exploring more opportunities. Expertise knowledge will be there. This is another one highlight because I join with another person. He'll be having his expertise knowledge that will be transferred to me. Okay. And third one is one. Usually we talk about these two. Third one is one where we go through innovation. Okay, actually we have three. Okay, we have three. Okay, so concentric. Okay, I just don't want to go word by word. I would like to go for the stop. The new product is a spin-off from the existing product. Already there is a product, just changing a small things. So it's a spin-off. Okay. There are benefits of synergy with the current operations. Already the current operation will be there and the new operation will be there. The good time coil is there, good time liquidity also is there. Okay, it's gaining synergy. Okay. Okay, so producing cloth ventures into manufacturing issues may be a concentric one. So you want to look trendy. So we have probably these Van Heusen, they have athletic wears, they have formal wears. Okay, everything they have. So the same way. So a company producing cloths will also be manufacturing shoes. Nothing is wrong in that. Okay. This is what you call as concentric. So again, in concentric, we can talk about vertically integrated and horizontally integrated. So vertical, I'm not going line by line, can manage because I have discussed everything. If I go line by line, it look like as if I'm teaching a school student. Okay, so I just highlight the words: moves forward or moves backward in the chain. So you remember this one: moves forward or moves backward. This is what you call as vertical integration. Okay, so all the integrated diversification remains in a vertically linked. This chain is what you call as product process chain. Please highlight it. Because of this one step ahead process, I'm getting a new product. I'm right. One step backwards, I'm getting a new product. This is what here you may be calling this as raw material. Here may be calling as finished goods. This intermediate product will be stepped one step ahead or backwards. Okay. Then forward and backward integration, the same point. I'm not repeating. Probably remains vertical within the same process. Backward integration, entering business of input providers. Okay. See, a large supermarket chain considers to purchase a number of farms that will provide it a significant. So, if we have visitor supermarkets, they'll have their own brands, which means supermarket is a industry or is an area where all the different brand players will be there. They will be displaying the product, they will be selling it, but they will have their own brands, which means that's a backward integration. Okay. Coffee bean manufacturer may choose to merge with a coffee cafe. Yes, Should I go for horizontal? Shall I take over? So horizontally, by integrating through acquisition of one or more similar business operating, please highlight similar business operating at the same stage of the production marketing. Okay, okay. Shall I take over? Okay, so you can just have a look on this picture a bit later. Okay, let me finish off conglomerate. Conglomerate, completely new business, new products that are not joined with the existing business. It's completely new. Maybe the process may be new, the technology may be new, the function may be new. Why we say new is we have not done it so long so far. So that's why it's new. So a cement manufacturer diversifies into the manufacture of steel and rubber products. Probably Mahindra and Mahindra in automobiles, in aerospace, more or less the same, right? Automobile is for roadways, aerospace for airways. Not a big difference, but it is if it is in logistics, probably slightly deviating. If it is in FMCG, it's not in FMCG. I'm saying if it's in FMCG, it's completely deviating. Okay, please try to understand. Actually, logistic itself is a deviation only. Logistics, we are talking about transport, right? So again, different. Because when we say manufacturer of automobiles, when we say it's an aerospace industry, it's not actually in transport. It's manufacturing and selling it away. It's not in transport. But when we talk about logistics, it's in transport. So that itself is a different area. If it transfer FMCG in the future, definitely it's going to be a completely new area. That will be a total conglomerate diversification. Okay, I don't know how far it will take. Let's check. Yes, I can just go through this one. Let me finish off innovation, then I'll give you some time. Innovation, please highlight innovation is not talking about new, it's upgradation of existing product lines or processes. You have seen the old mobile phones, it will be so long, like a half a feet height. If you hold it near your ears, it will cover a whole face. That was the earlier model. Then came this Nokia 1100 model. It was so very tiny. Then we have again this palm size phone, touch phones. See, that's a small upgradation. Instead of button phone, we have small touch screens. Even in the laptops, even in the tabs. See small because of the technology. So that's why it calls innovation. Okay. So existing product lines are process leading to increase. Please highlight this one. Why we talk about this innovation? So far, no companies has used. Now we are using it, which means it will be increasing our market share. One, it will be increasing our revenues. Two, it will be increasing the profit for the company. Three, and most important, customers will get satisfied. Four. Okay. Yes, many things because innovation is how you say it's innovative. We have to work. We have to go for a lot of background work. So it's usually very much highly expensive, and sometimes that will not be giving an innovative product. So that's again a problem. Okay, so can just see this one. Helps to solve complex problems. Another one problem here in innovation is I may be thinking I'm going for planning some innovative product. My competitor, without my knowledge, he may be working on the same concept, touch phones. So who brings it first? Samsung, LG, and we have Vivos and also many companies having this open phones. Okay, this dual screens. Okay, flip phones. Either you flip this side or you flip this side. Okay, like you flip vertically, open your palms like. Again, who is going to sustain? Actually, the first company which brought this open phone is dual screen phone is LG. Now LG is not involved in mobile industry. Now there are two fifth competitors between two, Samsung and Vivo. If possible, you try to have a look on this ad. Vivo company started using this dual screen phones that there will be no hinge light where you can open and you get a tab like thing. It actually gained a Guinness record for opening and flipping, closing and opening. There was a robo set where you can open and close the phones for how many times? 1 lakh number of times continuously. The problem why many are not buying this flip phone is how far is going to be helpful. If I open it 4 times, 5 times in a day for 10 times, 15 times, how many times it has to be useful? How many days or how many times? So this we was planning for this plant and this went for some 1 lakh number of times it opened and closed. A robo was fixed. Okay, let me show that one. That's quite an interesting one, I could say. Three screens also is there. The only problem is you'll have that hinge in between where you'll not have the continuity of the screen. If there's no hinge means there will be bend like feel it will be there in the screen. Now how far I can get it immediately. Let me check. Say 3 lakh holes in almost 12 days. I think this may be the one. New Guinness record. See, it is kept in a box, okay, a transparent glass box like, and a rope was fixed so that it was moving, flipping over and again and again. So I said it's 1 lakh, probably wrong with the data, 3 lakh times for 12 days. And it has set a new Guinness record. So it's a marketing strategy. So how many are going to buy this phone? Samsung or this one? Okay, this has already tried it. Okay, so my class is not interested. Sleeping in my class, and this video she wakes up. Okay, don't take it personally. Shall I turn over the screen? Okay, okay. So helps to solve some complex problem because we may not be getting solutions immediately, and this may be helpful. Especially when you talk about innovation, it's highly happening in a rapid speed in medical industry. Okay, probably before and all, if you get some fractures, you have to be operated. That steel rod and this nails and all will be fixed, and after that you have to operate again to remove all this. Now what happens? It just adopts to the bone itself. It vanishes. You need not operate second time. So first time to fix the fracture, you have to operate, and second time to remove that rod, you have to operate. And now that's not happening. That's a advancement. Robots are doing this surgery. That's an advancement. Then I just some 2 days before I read this news, some many are facing this knee related problems like knee replacement and all. A small chip is fixed inside where that is doing all the work. So like that is doing the healing process. Okay, but I don't know how far that's effective. I don't know how far that has been active in now in industry. But I just came to read this news. So some small chip will be placed in the knee while operating, and that will be healing the process fast. But how don't know that's been active now. So they'll be planning. Yeah, please highlight. They'll be planning in the areas which they have the expertise knowledge. They'll not be planning for the new and all. Okay, so they will be having some expertise knowledge. Okay, you can please make a note of it. Okay. Then increase the productivity, obviously. See, Microsoft Excel. If you buy a laptop, immediately which software you need to have? Microsoft. Else, there is no use of using laptop, correct? So the original version and other versions. So you can just go bit later. Gives competitive advantage. That's why we use this strategy. How I'm going to highlight in my business. Okay, if I'm not doing anything new, then nobody will consider. Mahindra is highly involved in innovation. Okay, so that's one thing. Then we'll go for external growth, or you can just go to till here. But we go for external growth strategies. Second. External growth strategies. Instead of growing internally, we want to go for external atmosphere, external environment. Okay, so we make alliance. Alliance means as often we take it as some relationship. Okay. It can be through mergers and acquisition. So one thing, or why is such a long page? What's the second one? Expansion through strategic alliance. This is one a beautiful one. Okay, let me come again this later. Let me finish off this mergers and acquisition. See, you being a consumer, definitely you know what you mean by merger and acquisition, right? Merger is something two companies are there, they merge together, form a new company. Acquisition is one company is there, will be acquiring the other company. Especially the company may be a loss-making company or maybe like a ill company, like sick companies we say. So why we go for this acquisition or merger is we want to expand. That's the only thing. Okay. See, expansion means if I talk about new market, new product, that's also expansion. But already there is a player, even though he's a loss maker, there is an already player who is already doing a business. If I go and merge with that player, or if I acquire that business, there is nothing I'm going to learn new from the beginning. See, already there's something happening in the company. That's a major one advantage I would see. Okay. So it's an attractive and tempting proposition. You can please make a note of these two terms. Attractive and tempting proposition. Where this will be helpful because risk and skills involved in screening internal growth opportunities, seizing them, building them. Probably this may be taking some time. So if you say like if you're acquiring a company, there should be a nod from competition tribunals. Okay, competition authority should say okay, SEBI authority should say okay. So after everything happens, it goes for 1 or 2 years. Okay, this all happens. It's not only for merger, that happens for demerger also. If they want to separate as a company, separate company. Okay, so I'm not going line by line. Yeah, please highlight synergy. See, everything is with respect to synergetic effect only. Maybe because of physical facilities. I have a land over here, but I'm not okay with all these things, or I'm becoming liquidated. So you may be acquiring the company. Okay, so in that case, so physical facilities or technical and managerial skills, you're not going to learn anything new, right? So already the skills are available. Distribution channels will be available. So Mahindra and Mahindra is completely in FMCG logistics. Another one FMCG company merges. They say you do the logistics, I give you the FMG. Then we'll form a new product. Okay. See, Kotak Mahindra is not a merger. Like merger is different. See, because of merger of two name, we cannot say it's merger. Merger of the business is different. We are talking about merger of businesses. Okay. So general administration may be helpful, R&D and so on. Okay. So we have so many positive synergetic effects. Only we have positive synergetic effects, we go for merger or acquisition. Definitely will not go for negative effects at all. So I'm not going to touch this para. Okay, so what do you mean by acquisition? Taking over the other organization? See, general terms, if there's any complicated words, definitely I'll be discussing. Okay, so the combined entity then run under the name of the powerful entity. Yes, please make a note. Obviously, the inferior one will be taken over by the superior company. The loss-making company will be taken over by the profit-making company. Okay, so not only in terms of money, in all the ways. Okay, see, many banks join. Um, Kotak Mahindra was taking over ING Visa Bank, acquiring ING Visa Bank. That is also there. So types of merger. See, there we were discussing horizontal integration, vertical integration. The same, but here we'll be discussing horizontal merger and vertical one. The main difference is when we talk about horizontal and vertical integration, we are talking about process, products, and so on. But when we talk about integration with respect to mergers, we are talking about acquiring another company. See, this is my company over here. I acquired the forward company and these two companies join. I'm not expanding my business process wise. I'm acquiring the company itself. If I take a company which is in my backward process, so obviously I'm merging. See, the company itself is merging. Earlier, we were discussing integration with respect to what process alone. I'm expanding my process. That's what's an expansion. This also is an expansion. Okay. Okay. So wordings are simple. I'm not highlighting anything because simple wordings only can just go through. Vertical merger, co-generic merger. Yes, if we are in the same industry, we may be same industry in the sense that not same product, different products may be there. This is a beautiful example where you go for kitchen appliances. I may be well versed in refrigerator alone, but I merge with another one because if I go for planning for modular kitchens, that shelving unit and all, that storage unit and all is totally different. I am well versed in refrigerators only. So I joined with them. Okay. Um, if you go for paints, Asian Paints. What is their work? What is their job? To supply paints. What is their job? To give different shades, different textures, and different shades can be brought. What they personally now do is they develop their area into interior decoration also. This is also expansion. This is what you call as co-generic. Um, you have heard of this JSW Homes, Tata Homes. Tata Homes means they are in construction industry. Actually, they're not constructing. What they do is they enter into a memorandum of understanding with the engineer. That engineer will be completely doing it, but they'll be using all the raw materials from JSW. JSW seals, steels. So they'll be using all the raw materials of JSW. Whatever the specifications there provided by JSW, that will be wherever you do in Tamil Nadu or other state, all over India. All the specifications will be carried out by JSW only, but engineers are not their engineers. They are into memorandum of understanding. They have a partnership. Actually, what this JSW does is they will be hiring the engineers where they work only for their products because the code should not go out, right. So they work only for JSW products. So if they want to work personally any outside products, they have to come out of JSW. They become the employees of JSW. Okay, so this is one area now growing. This Asian paints and they develop for interior decorators. Okay, so this is conglomerate merger. So it's completely different groups. Okay, I acquire a company, it's completely different. We call it as conglomerate. So probably I think you can manage till here. Shall I go for the next heading? Strategic alliance is one of the very, very important topic. Let me go in a steady, slow passion. Definition itself is important. What's the highlight is I'm one company A, you're another company B. Definitely, I'm in a good developing stage. You're also in a good developing stage. I may be defining a strategy. You may be defining a strategy, but we cannot execute the strategy. See, developing a strategy is important, but implementing the strategy as I develop is so very important. See, I developed a strategy, but it has to be properly implemented. If it is not implemented, the use of developing itself has gone waste. So what happens is to develop or to execute the strategy, I need to acquire or I need to join with another one person. This is not the stake only for me, only even for B. He has developed another strategy. He has to join somebody else so that only he can execute. Okay, this is what we call as strategic alliance. So if they both join only, what they can do? They can go for execute. Okay. So you can check on this. Let me go for the definition. It's a relationship between two or more business that enables each to achieve. Please highlight. It's not only beneficial to you, it's beneficial to me also. Okay, for both the business to achieve certain strategic objectives which neither would be able to achieve on its own. If A does this separately, it will not achieve. B does this separately, it will not achieve. If both does together, yes, obviously, strategy and merger is here is giving synergetic effect. That is different. But here it is what you call a strategic alliance because their strategy has to be done together only. Okay. If I go away from this area, if I talk about strategic alliance from India and other nations, India is providing the land, the employees, other thing. You come and do the business over here. Make in India, make for the world. Strategic alliance. This is what you call a strategic alliance. We don't have fund. We don't have infra in the sense that apart from land and other things, we don't have the technology. But all the others, Japanese technologies and you have European technologies, you have everything, you come and implement in India. We will give you the land. So obviously, who is growing now? They are expanding global wise. We are economically growing. So that's why we are now in fourth position. We have surpassed Japan GDP. See, I will be beneficial and also you will be beneficial. But I cannot do independently because I don't have the particular resources. Okay, so this happens. So it's a beautiful case for. So they are often formed in the global marketplace. Please highlight. That's what I'm trying to say. Not happen within the nation. Globally, it will happen. That are based in different regions of the world. So probably I started with Mahindra and Mahindra acquired the Stand Motors KGM. Can you please refer this one if possible. So we'll go for advantages. Shall I take over? Advantages. Organizational advantage. So they will be having some skills and they'll be having some capabilities. Okay, where they'll be utilizing all those and such a way create a synergistic effect. I'm not going line by line. Let me go for these two words that will add legitimacy and credibility. What do you mean by legitimacy is I'm not copying. Please try to understand. It's my original version. Mine means we both did it together and it's our original version. We are not copying. Credibility is obviously the credit goes for the new venture. They both join and they are doing it. Um, we know Ambani, Anil Ambani. You can just refer this news. This is quite an important news now. This is a hot topic going on. So this Anil Ambani is now in defense sector. See, so far when we say Ambani family, we are not going to talk about Anil Ambani. We talk about Mukesh Ambani and family. But this time the news is coming about Anil Ambani because Anil Ambani. See, we have this Durga Ambani. So he got separated. It's a Hindu family. They got separated, And some business is taken by Mukesh Ambani and some business is taken by Anil Ambani. You might be knowing all these stories. Mukesh Ambani is completely successful in his business. Anil Ambani is facing all the losses. Went bankrupt during the pandemic time. Suffered a lot. But the latest news on Anil Ambani's company is it is going for acquiring some 38%. I'm not okay with the data. Some percentage of stake in defense. So they are, I think 40% or something. So they are improving with respect to defense. So India is relying on Anil Ambani now in this particular case. That's a different turnover for him. That's a different distance in his life now. See, so far when you go for the caption, it always says bankrupt, gone. That's all, over. But now there's a good news from this side. You can please refer this one. This is quite helpful. So let me take over. Yes, economically also will be growing. So there'll be reduction in costs and risk. So as an economic student, you may be knowing all this. So partners can take advantage of co-specialization. Okay, you'll create additional value and this one probably Microsoft Office in all the phones. Okay, then strategic, not all the phones, laptops. Sorry, computers. So strategic means we join together to cooperate instead of competing. Yeah, please highlight. We both compete. I stand first, you stand second. Or you always stand first, I stand second. Now we join together. We always stand first. So that's very nice, right? So we go for cooperating together instead of competing. That's itself as again a new one. And pooling the resources and skills. This is not a normal one. The way we used to get access to new technologies, as I discussed, joint research and R&D. Then we'll go for political. Yes, if we go for nationwide, we have to talk about different political. See, probably if there is a political change, political party change in US, America, yes, it's affecting India. Okay. GST is increased. It's affecting India. Okay. Every business. Okay. This goes on. So forming strategic alliances will politically influence the partners. Modi ji went for a business meet in Germany, and there are now many openings for engineers and cost accountants in Germany. Strategic alliance. Okay, that's it. Disadvantages is the only or major problem is sharing. When you say that you're applying a tech, you're applying a skill here in my place, I'm learning a skill. How far the strategic alliance is going to work effectively? Probably 5 years, 10 years, 100 years. At one point of view, we're going to separate. Then your knowledge is now shared with me. Okay, so we call this as some NDA, non-disclosure agreement. We should not share and we should not work for others. So this will not happen. Yes, sharing knowledge and skills can be problematic, and if this is not working out, means definitely you have to think in a better way to succeed in your future. So, opponent in future may be problem. Okay, so that's about strategic alliance. But actually, strategic alliance is a very small heading, but it's a very important heading, often asked in exams. So, at least go for two or three revisions because alliance is a word, it's just nothing talking about relationship. Alliance means relationship. Okay, so strategic alliance means one strategy, another strategy. That relationship is what you call a strategic alliance. So, okay, probably 4.3, I'll continue in the next class. So, I think I have completed around 20 pages, 18 pages. So somewhat 50% over. Not exactly by page wise. Content wise 50% over.